One of the best pay-per-views of 2026, and it's only March. Every match on this pay-per-view was a classic, one that you probably will remember for the rest of the year. If you see a list of the best matches on a pay-per-view, the matches on this pay-per-view will likely be on that list. So this has been a very good card, a very fun card. The main event was amazing. The start of the show was amazing. So what are your initial thoughts on the pay-per-view?
Yeah, overall, the entire crowd was amazing the entire night. There's a lot of matches where the crowd was really getting into things. There was really no match that was either bad either. Every match had its moments, had its time to shine. So yeah, it's a really cool night overall and a great way to kick off the year for AEW pay-per-views. This being the first one.
And we're going to start this off with the pre-show. We're going to quickly go over it. We did see Big Boom AJ pick up a win. We also seen Jack Perry pick up a win in the 21-man Battle Royal. And we also seen, this was the best match of the pre-show, potentially the best women's match on the night, was Willow Nightingale defeating Lana Cross for that TBS championship. A banger match. Lana Cross was her first real big title match, her first big pay-per-view part of AEW. Technically, she kind of debuted at Grand Slam, but that's not really a pay-per-view. But yeah, this was a really big moment for her. She didn't win, unfortunately, but she does get a win later on this night.
But kicking off the show, we had the World Tag Team titles on the line where FTR put the champions up against the Young Bucks. This match is obviously something that we all knew was going to be amazing. We know how good it can get and how quick things would escalate, but this match was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we all know the chemistry is going to be there between the two of the best tag teams of this generation, and yeah, this match had some amazing moments throughout the entire night.
Now, this was a banger match. They put on a classic. These are two of the best tag teams in the world, so to see them two go head to head like that is always a good thing and a positive thing. No matter how many times we do see them in ring, they always put together good matches like they did tonight. It was a bloody night and a good fight between the two. Obviously, the headline is going to be what happens after the match, but the match itself was very good between these two. It could be match of the night depending on if you love tag team wrestling that much. I probably wouldn't put it there, but it is on the top of the card for me if I had to kind of list these in order.
Yeah, this was my favorite. This was my favorite tag team match of the year so far. Young Bucks as babyfaces are some of the peak tag team wrestling right now, and yeah, they've been absolutely killing it. The match itself also had really good pacing. This is over a 20-minute match, and it felt like it was like 10 because everything was just constant flowing. And that's I think what's so great about the Young Bucks style, how they wrestle, especially with FTR. They all kind of get how they want to do things, and they kind of get their spots really good. But yeah, this match was obviously amazing. The talking point of this match is going to be what happened after, and that's when we seen Adam Copeland and Christian return to AEW. Christian come up from behind and attack one of them, then Adam Copeland comes down and then he spears Dax Harwood, and yeah, we get a big moment of them returning, also facing off against the Young Bucks, kind of teasing that some of these three teams will have some type of a matchup with each other at one point or another again, and yeah, I'm sure those tag team belts will be passed around between these three teams probably for the rest of this year.
Yeah, definitely. And when Adam Copeland came back and you seen the revenge come up on screen, I was a little bit confused because I wasn't fully sure if it was going to be him. I didn't know what was necessarily happening, but then once the R turned into the rated R symbol or whatever, and then he came out, it was a really good return from him, really good spear from him as well. And yeah, this was a pretty good segment, good return for him, good time for him to come back to him, leading into All In. Of course, he'll be a big name to put on that card, somebody who you want on that card to be more of a draw, to get more people in the doors and everything, especially being back in Wembley Stadium. You have as much seats as you want to sell, and yeah, he'll be a big help for that.
For our next match, we had Marina Shafir versus Toni Storm, and this match was pretty fun. Marina Shafir dominated and kind of showed off how much she has improved and continued to grow as a heel wrestler. She pretty much dominates her for the first half of this match and kind of just makes it all about her, makes Toni Storm play into her side of into her style of wrestling to kind of give her the advantage. But what ends up to be the turning point of this match is going to be when she kind of starts testing Toni Storm, telling her hit harder, go harder, hit stronger. But eventually Toni Storm busts out some German suplexes, gets the advantage, and we end up seeing her get a roll-up schoolboy pin win.
Now, this was a decent match between the two. They are going to have another match on Dynamite this week, so I do kind of feel like maybe you probably should just put the stipulation on this match and had a better match here, because this match wasn't really too good. I didn't really care for it a whole lot, but it got the job done because something big happened after this match as well.
And that's because as Toni Storm was walking back on stage, she starts to celebrate, and all of a sudden you start hearing kind of boos and kind of mixed reactions from the crowd, and that's when we pan back to the ring and we see Ronda Rousey back in an AEW ring, and she kind of calls for Toni Storm to come down to the ring, and the two have a face-off, kind of setting up some type of big segment between them, maybe at All In, maybe that's their big WrestleMania match kind of for Ronda Rousey, and yeah, we see them kind of go at it. We see Russ kind of give them a break between breaking them up apart from each other. But then Marina Shafir comes from behind, sneak attacks Toni Storm, and then we kind of get Marina and Ronda walking away together, which would transition to the next match as well.
Ronda Rousey is back in a professional wrestling ring. I don't know if I should be excited for it, not happy for it. I don't really know. I'm not a fan of Ronda Rousey. I don't really like her in general. I don't really like her character in wrestling. I don't think she's a good wrestler. Obviously, she has had some good matches and things of that sort. But yeah, I'm just not really a big fan of her. But maybe in AEW it'll be different. It is kind of a different environment than it is in WWE, so maybe it could work. But I understand why they signed her. She's a draw. She's a big name. She has the big fight coming up. So yeah, I guess it makes sense.
And the match that would follow would be Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita in the Continental Championship match, where we have a no time limit stipulation to it. And like I mentioned, we had Marina Shafir and Ronda Rousey walking back, and they would meet Jon Moxley in the tunnel, and she would give her little slaps to kind of warm him up. And we see Moxley get a huge reaction as well doing his entrance. And this crowd absolutely loves Moxley. It was one of the cooler like aura moments for Moxley. Everybody is cheering for him. It's nice seeing Moxley kind of away from the full heel stuff, but still kind of doing his thing. And yeah, the aura from Jon Moxley is definitely amazing to see. But yeah, this match absolutely amazing. Took Konosuke Takeshita and Moxley. This is what you kind of want from that rematch. It felt like a continuation of where they left off last time. Each thing getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You see some big forearm. We can have big forearm that kind of knocked out Moxley for a little bit. But in the end, Jon Moxley puts Konosuke Takeshita to sleep and wins the Continental and retains the Continental Classic champion.
Yeah, this was a banger match. This is probably the best match on the card, but I'm not gonna say it's the best match on the card. It's just one of those things with Jon Moxley where it's like he could do the most amazing thing, but just people just won't fully care about it like they do with other people. It's kind of has that like Seth Rollins effect in a way where Seth Rollins could put on an amazing match, but people still find a way to talk shit about him, talk bad about him. I'm not gonna do that with Moxley. I don't have any shit to talk about him. I'm just gonna say this was a very, very good match. The only thing I will kind of talk shit about is not really Moxley. Maybe it's up to the booker or whoever this is about, but he did kind of completely no-sell Konosuke Takeshita's finisher, kick out at 1, and I was like, wow, that's kind of, he might as well just change his finisher at this point. Yeah, I don't really know what that's gonna mean for Konosuke Takeshita, because he is a big name, a big rising talent, someone who can be the best person on your roster. Maybe not so much in AEW at this point because of the amount of talent that they do have there, but Takeshita is still an amazing person, and I would love to see him with singles gold around his waist very soon.
But that's not it for this segment, because lights would go out, but we would start to see a vignette of a Will Ospreay getting his surgery and him training back to coming back to AEW, and then the lights would go back on, and we would hear Elevated once again, and Will Ospreay makes his huge return to AEW here at Revolution, where he's the same show he also debuted at a few years ago now. And yeah, he immediately comes running down. He attacks Moxley. They go back and forth. Death Riders come in to kind of even the odds or kind of take over, but even Will Ospreay fights them off. He hits all of them, and then eventually he tries to go back for Moxley, but Moxley evades out and gets away. But yeah, Will Ospreay is back. Huge moment. Completely nothing changed about him. He looks even in better shape than he did when he left. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what 2026 has to offer now that Will Ospreay's back in the mix.
Yeah, he had a very cool vignette, as you mentioned, leading up to his return. It was kind of Goku DBZ inspired, of the hyperbolic time chamber of Goku in there, preparing for his fight with Frieza, and that's kind of what he did in that video package. It's a very, very cool moment that I liked a lot. Obviously, Will Ospreay, one of the best in the world, showing off his scar at the very end of that segment to Moxley, showing him what he did to him. And yeah, I do expect him to take that title from Moxley at some point in the very near future, potentially at Dynasty, potentially at All In. I guess we'll see where this leads to.
Following that, we would have the women's tag team title match between Babes of Wrath and the new name team of the Divine Dominion of Lena Cross and Megan Bayne, where we see Lena and Megan pick up those tag team titles. And yeah, they are the new tag team champions. And yeah, unfortunate for Willow and Harley Cameron, but I think they have started a good run as the first women's tag team champions in AEW. And I think it's something good to go off of for this Megan and Lena Cross title run.
Yeah, they had a couple good matches as tag team champions, and that's pretty much all you can ask for. You know, they had a good run. Willow also was kind of wrapped up in singles competition that kind of played into the finish of this match with her injured shoulder from her match with Lena on the pre-show that I mentioned. And yeah, they defeated them in roughly 5 minutes. We have our second AEW Tag Team Women's Champions now. So this is a very big moment for them. I feel like this is the right choice. Tony Khan mentioned on the post show there was a big moment where they had to make a big swerve in the direction they were going into with Penelope Ford getting injured. They didn't really know what to do. Then Lena Cross came around. They added her. She's been a great addition to the group as a whole, and I've been really impressed with her work. She's very, very good. She showed that off in her match with Willow Nightingale. Then she was the one to get the pin on her as well to pick up the tag team titles.
Next up, we would have Brody King versus Swerve Strickland up next. And this match was another brutal and intense one. Both men just obviously trying to prove who is the more dominant force in AEW right now. Obviously, Brody King with the size, you have him, but Swerve Strickland now being healed, kind of going down this path of kind of not being shy to do anything now. He's absolutely crazy. He did a vertebra breaker onto the concrete to Brody King. And yeah, this match was all over the place and crazy. And yeah, one of my favorite matches of the night for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of one of those crazy matches because it was a pretty short match. I don't know exactly what the time was. I don't have it up in front of me right now, but it's probably around 12-15 minutes, somewhere around there. And they did a lot during this match. There was no stipulation on this match, but they were still able to kind of show violence throughout the match when he removes the mat and does the vertebra breaker on the matless floor. Pretty nasty moment, especially for someone as big as Brody King. That's pretty kind of a cool moment, seeing someone as big as that get lifted up in a vertebra breaker position. But yeah, Swerve Strickland does pick up the win. Pretty predictable win from Swerve Strickland here, but it is a good win from Swerve Strickland, heading him a little bit closer to that world title. After he does pick up the win, we see him go to the outside of the ring, get a brick, put it in the ring. You can only imagine the things that was going through his head during that time. We see him give him a vertebra breaker onto the brick, kind of like how he did to Hangman Adam Page. Or, you know, what is he gonna do? But Kenny Omega comes back, makes the save to Brody King, and kind of takes him out and lets him go running off to the back again. So that will be another interesting feud to see between the two, Kenny Omega and Swerve Strickland. That's a big match to have, and that will likely be our Dynasty match in the future.
Yeah, I hope this feud is revisited between Brody King and Swerve Strickland. I think it's a great match to have once again. If one of these men do end up winning gold sometime down the line. And yeah, Kenny Omega versus Swerve Strickland feels like a Dynasty match now. Now that Kenny is back in action, I hope we do see him a lot more on TV, and I'm sure we will. But yeah, I think this match at Dynasty could be amazing. And next up, we would have a 2 out of 3 falls for the Women's World Championship. We're seeing Thekla pick up the win 2 times over Chris Statlander here tonight, and to retain her World Championship.
Yeah, this was a crazy match. We've seen a ref bump that kind of really got the match started towards the end on the third fall of this match, and there was really just not a whole lot going on. The Sisters of Sin got involved, and Chris Statlander was able to fight them off. It was kind of a weird moment there because she was really selling being beat up at that point during the match, and she was selling, I can't get up, you know, I'm selling. And then, you know, they come in and she just pops up, and it's like everything didn't matter previous to that, and the selling really didn't matter at that point. And there was a whole lot of things that I just really didn't care for during this match. It was a good match. It definitely wasn't a bad match. It just wasn't one for me. I wish just maybe I had a little bit more time and a little bit more care and thoughtful kind of booking, and maybe some better stipulation kind of added to it. I don't really know exactly what they could have done to make this a better match.
I did enjoy this match. I do think I am very happy that Thekla did retain here, because I was a little bit worried that Chris was going to win this match. At one point, I did think she was going to get that second fall and the third fall. So yeah, unfortunately for Chris Statlander, she doesn't win here. I am a little bit curious to see where she does go on from here, because like you kind of talked about off camera, she doesn't really have a real direction anymore. Obviously, now that she's done with Thekla, she could go after the TBS chamber with Willow and kind of set up that feud, but it's something we have seen before, so who knows where Chris Statlander will go. But for Thekla, I do think this opens up a lot of new opportunities. Obviously, there's a lot of baby faces in the AEW Women's Division right now. I think she could go against to make some big moves going into Dynasty.
Yeah, this is a massive win for Thekla. I feel like this really kind of set her up and kind of put her in the position of a top female in the company after this win, and all her previous work, her promos, and everything that she's done. She's kind of proven herself to be a top talent in AEW, and I think Tony Khan will see that too and kind of put her up there on the level. The Tony Storm and the Mercedes Monets and things of that nature. So yeah, I think she will be up there very, very soon, if not already there. As for Chris Statlander, I don't really know what direction to go with her. She already won the world title. She's beaten Tony Storm. She's beaten Mercedes Moné. She's beaten everyone on the roster. She's gotten the TBS title. She hasn't won the tag title, so I guess that's a direction she could go. But I just don't really see that being a real direction for her, at least right now, because I don't know who she would team with, because she's kind of made a lot of enemies during her heel run, and then when she was a babyface, she really didn't mend a lot of those enemies while she was kind of on her babyface run as well. So I don't really know what she's gonna do.
Next up in trios action, we would have Jet Speed and Mystico taking on the Don Callis family of Kyle Fletcher, Okada, and Mark Davis. Now, obviously, this is Jet Speed trying to go back to reclaim their trios championships now with Mystico as their new third, and this match was absolutely a blast. I had so much fun with this. Mystico definitely had a great showing here tonight. I think won a lot of people over. The crowd was definitely hyped behind him. Just be kind of repping Mystico as well with the face mask and kind of wearing a similar type of mask with him. Was also a really nice touch. But yeah, this match is obviously crazy. All the names. You have so many type of athletic guys who are able to do so many different moves and so many crazy moves. Then you've seen just that. Fletcher and Mark Davis were also a highlight for me. Kind of seeing them back together was a nice touch. I used to like them a lot when they were in Ring of Honor as well. So yeah, nice to see them back together. But yeah, this match was absolutely blast. But we do see Jet Speed and Mystico reclaim the Trios champion.
This was my favorite match from Mystico in AEW. He really kind of won me over with this. I don't really know exactly what it was that won me over, but it was just the environment, the way everything was flowing during this match. Everyone was kind of on point during this match. Mystico and Mark Davis is probably the two standouts for me during this match. Mark Davis, probably one of his best matches in AEW as well, in my opinion. This was just a great showing from both Mystico and Mark Davis. The pile drivers that he was able to hit with really looked nasty, really laid him in. He kind of had that big hot tag towards the end of the match that really kind of set him up to make it look like he was going right before Mystico would pick up the win. But yeah, when his music played and the All Elite graphic showed up on screen at the end, the crowd popped for it, and that really kind of won me over. Just hearing his music, the reaction he had, yeah, everything about this was very good.
Next up in singles action, we would have Andrade take on Bandito, and this match was another absolute banger. Two men who you knew are at the top of the game right now, and we're gonna have a banger match. Did that, just that, and they delivered. Both men had such great chemistry with each other, and throughout the entire night, you just kind of didn't know who was gonna do what was like the next big thing, and they just kept trading so many different at so many different moments. And yeah, you end up having a moment where Bandito hit his 21 plex and is trying to go for another one, but Andrade flips out of it, hits him with the elbow, and he picks up the big one in the end. And yeah, Andrade kind of gets a big win here, because on paper this match might not seem like it has big stakes behind it, but these are two men who have been on hell of a runs each over the past pretty much few months since either Andrade debuted and what Bandito's been doing. But now this kind of sets up who is going to be the next guy in line for that World Championship, and especially Andrade, who picks up the win, who didn't get that World Championship match just yet.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what this means for Andrade. I do hope that this means a World Championship match. I do hope that he goes on to kind of at least get a shot, whether it's on a Dynamite, a pay-per-view, whatever it may be. There is some time between now and All In, so I do think he could probably get a PLE in between now and All In.
But in the co-main event, we would go back to trios action, where we see Darby Allin team up with Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy to take on the new signings of the Dogs, Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, and Clark Connors. And this match was another one that, although it was in a spot to kind of settle down before we get into this crazy Texas Deathmatch main event, it was still pretty fun. It had some cool spots. At one point, Darby Allin kind of goes to the outside to do some type of attack to Gabe Kidd on the apron, but then out of nowhere while he's running, Clark Connors comes around and just spears him through the middle ropes. It was a really sick spot. It is nice to see Darby get some type of win here. Fortunately, he can pick up the pin, but it is cool that, you know, it is still a pay-per-view spot, and yeah, it's a good moment to kind of continue the feud that he has ongoing with these guys.
No, I don't care what you say. I'm going to complain about it. This is dog shit booking for Darby Allin. I was hoping he would have gold by now. He did the whole Mount Everest thing. He came back. I had like very high hopes for him heading after that. Obviously, the Moxley feud, the Death Riders feud, all of that. I hate that he's part of a trios match on a pay-per-view. This could definitely just been a Dynamite match. And not only that, but also this pay-per-view was extremely long. So if you cut this match out and just slid that main event right here, this pay-per-view would have got like a 0.25 better for me. Not that this match was bad, as you mentioned. This was definitely a good match. I am just talking shit a little bit. But yeah, I definitely disliked the booking of Darby Allin. And this was a very bad spot to put him in, even though it's co-main event. But bad spot in terms of like everything that's happened during this night. Andrade and Bandito just have this banger match. We just seen this Mystico Trios crazy match, and now we're about to get into this Texas Deathmatch main event. So this is a bad spot for any match to be in, but especially a Trios match with no stakes in it.
But now it is time for the main event, which is a Texas Deathmatch for the AEW World Championship between MJF and Hangman Adam Page. And remember, the winner of this, or if Hangman were to lose this match, he can never challenge for the AEW World Championship ever again. And yeah, in the end, it is revealed that MJF does pick up the win after an insane match. There is so many spots you can talk about throughout this match, and the amount of blood I can only imagine is in puddles in that arena. But yeah, this match absolutely insane. I am very surprised that Heyman did lose this match. That it was an easy decision to just have him win, reclaim gold, and kind of end this MJF run, and you also don't have to deal about this going after the World Championship ever again. But I do think it sets up a bigger storyline for Hangman in a few years probably to really pay this off. But although all saying that, this match is still my match of the year now, and yeah, insane and intense and gory and bloody and everything you'd want from a Texas Death Match and happening here.
This is definitely my match of the year so far. Definitely a really good one, and yeah, I mean, this was just a bloody mess. This was a match of the year contender. This was everything you wanted it to be, being the stipulation that was put upon this one. The only thing I will say is I did hate the build to it, the coin flip, all that sort of stuff. I don't like that they put Adam Page in this situation to even be in this situation to, you know, not be able to win the title, because I do like Hangman being a part of the world title scene. You know, I do think he'll just break that stipulation anyway, so I don't think it really matters. But we did get a lot of fuck New York chants during this match. We got "We Want Fire" chants during this match. We seen Hangman Adam Page do a dead eye through a table. Then we seen MJF respond with a pile driver through a table. We seen light tubes smashed on each other's heads. We seen skewers get put into MJF's head. We seen barbed wire, steel chairs. We seen dog collars. We seen exploding tables. We pretty much seen everything that you would want. Any kind of hardcore weapon, from a broom to glass.
And at one point as well, Hangman introduces a window frame, and he kind of brings it into the ring to kind of throw MJF through it, but MJF counters, gets the window, and kind of smacks it on the ground, kind of breaks in and says, "I ain't doing any of that indie bullshit." But in the end, he gets slammed on the glass, and then Hangman drives him through it as well. Another point, Hangman gets the barbed wire, kind of wraps it around his mouth, and it's just kind of yanking him back, and it's just a nasty image. Kind of has like some Joker scars with all the blood around his mouth. So yeah, a really cool moment. So many crazy spots, and yeah, this is an easy spot to kind of be a match of the year with due to the stipulation. But yeah, I am interested to know what your guys' favorite moment from this match was down in the comments below. But yeah, overall, insane night from AEW with Revolution. I'm interested to see what we do now going into Dynasty.
Yeah, hopefully we see Darby Allin get a better position. Hopefully we see a big Will Ospreay John Moxley match. We see Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland. There's a lot of directions for AEW to go, especially with the big debut of Ronda Rousey. We'll see what she gets into on Dynamite in the future. And yeah, this was a very good show. Probably the best pay-per-view of the year. It is the best pay-per-view of the year. Let's correct that. Yeah, it is the best pay-per-view of the year so far. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what Dynasty has, what WrestleMania has. A lot of good, very good wrestling shows coming up. We appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.